Hi, good morning. Welcome to the training module on Vibrant. So, Vibrant is a critical illness plan that can help our clients when it comes to their critical illness and their disability need. In this module, we'll go over the different features and benefits what Vibrant has to offer. So, similar to Set for Health, Vibrant is also a critical illness plan. However, this time we provide extensive critical illness protection benefits from screening, treatment, and even recovery. So, it is a complete health protection from wellness to recovery. Now, in Vibrant, we have coverage up to the age of 100 years, and we get covered with 42 major critical illnesses and 15 minor critical illnesses. Now let's go over the different features on what Vibrant has to offer. From a new feature, health screening benefit, to an upgraded major critical illness benefit. We even have a health supplement benefit, this time a higher minor critical illness benefit, a death benefit, maturity benefit, and now you can customize this plan with riders as well. So let's start with our first feature, health screening benefit. Now, this benefit can be used for those annual physical exams or those executive checkups. Now, take note, from this benefit, you do not need to be suffered from a critical illness. You can actually claim straight away, no? So, with this benefit, you can claim 0.2% of the sum assured, which starts on the second policy anniversary and every 2 years thereafter until the first major critical illness claim or the 10th policy anniversary, whichever comes first. Now, please take note, we do have a maximum limit here of 40,000 pesos per year. That would be obviously dependent on the sum assured of the client. So let's take a look on how this feature works. So we got a client here. Her name is Andrea. She's a 30-year-old director, happily married with 3 kids. She understands that looking after herself means looking after her family. So she purchased Vibrant. Okay? So she decided to go with a sum assured worth of 1 million pesos. Okay. Now, thanks to this feature, on the second policy year, Andrea can actually claim her first health screening benefit, and that will continue until the policy year number 10, unless she claims for a major critical illness. Okay? Now, how much is the percentage? Remember, this is going to be 0.2% of the sum assured. So, on the second policy anniversary, she gets 2,000 pesos that she could use for her annual physical exam. On year 4, once again, another 2,000. On year 6, another 2,000. Year 8, another 2,000. And year 10, another 2,000 pesos. Okay? So altogether, thanks to this feature, Andrea claimed 10,000 pesos under the health screening benefit. Now let's go over our next feature, which is the upgraded major critical illness benefit. So under this, you can claim 100% of the sum assured when diagnosed with a covered major critical illness. This time, up to 6 times. Okay? So this time you can claim up to 3 times for cancer without having to be cancer free by just waiting for a year or 3 years. Okay? And you can claim 3 times for non-cancer related conditions as well. Okay? So how much is the coverage? You get covered with 42 major critical illnesses that you can claim 6 times. Now let's go over a sample scenario on how this works for the upgraded major critical illness, okay? So we get Andrea once again with a sum assured of 1 million pesos. Okay? On the first year, she gets diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Now that's a covered critical illness under group number 1, so she can actually process her first major claim. That would be 1 million pesos. Okay? Now since she processed a claim, this plan does come with a waiver of premium as well. So we are going to waive all future premium payments, and Andrea will still be covered up to the age of 100. Why? because we have 6 claims when it comes to the major critical illness. Now, on year number 3, sadly, Andrea gets diagnosed with a second major cancer, which is a colon cancer. Okay, remember we do have 3 cancer claims here in Vibrant, okay? However, please do remember we do have that condition which is 1 year gap when it's a different cancer or a different critical illness, similar to that of Set for Health. Okay, so on policy year 3, she claimed once again another 1 million pesos when it comes to the cancer claim. And then on year number 5, sadly, she's still suffering from her first cancer, the ovarian cancer. Okay? Now, the good thing about our cancer claims, okay, if you have a continuous cancer for 3 years, or it's a recurring cancer for 3 years, you can actually claim once again for that same cancer. Okay? So this time it's going to be a third major critical illness claim for that ovarian cancer, and Andrea gets another 1 million pesos. Okay? So this is how our cancer claims work. Now let's go over our non-cancer claims. So on year 6, Andrea gets diagnosed with cardiomyopathy. Since this is a covered critical illness, she processed her first non-cancer claim, which is 1 million pesos. Now, please do take note, okay? We still have that 1 year gap when we talk about major to major or major to minor claims, okay? Then on year number 7, Andrea sadly suffers from a heart attack. Now, take note, this belongs in the same group as cardiomyopathy. So, can she file for a claim? Answer would be yes this time. Why? Because under Vibrant, for a heart attack, you can actually claim up to 3 times, even though it belongs to the same group. Okay? So, she processed a second non-cancer claim. That would be another 1 million pesos. Okay? And then on year number 8, she suffers another heart attack. Okay, remember we have up to 3 times for heart attack. So this time she processed a third, okay, and final non-cancer claim, which would be another 1 million pesos. Okay, remember though, we have the 1 year gap when we talk about major to major claims and major to minor claims. So altogether, under Vibrant, you are eligible for 3 cancer claims and 3 non-cancer claims as well. However, for heart attack, you can claim up to 3 times, and for stroke as well, you can claim up to 3 times. So, to wrap up our major critical illness, even though our sum assured is 1 million pesos, Andrea can file up to 6 million pesos under the major critical illness. Now let's go over our next feature, which is the health supplement benefit. Now, under the health supplement benefit, you can claim 2% of the sum assured for 6 consecutive months after the first major critical illness. So the client does not need to worry about household expenses and can focus on recovery. Okay, this is though a one-time claim, okay? Only given on your first major critical illness, and we have a maximum limit of 400,000 pesos. Now let's take a look on how this works. So Andrea, on year number 2, got diagnosed with ovarian cancer. So she got 1 million pesos part of her cancer claim. Okay, now since we have a health supplement benefit, together with her first major claim, we are going to give her 2% of the sum assured for her daily expenses. Okay, so we would provide her with an additional 20,000 pesos. So together with her first major claim, she receives 1,020,000 pesos. Okay? Then, on the second month, another 20,000 pesos. On the third month, another 20,000. On the fourth month, another 20,000 pesos. On the fifth month, another 20,000 pesos for a total of 1,120,000 pesos that has been paid when she filed her first major claim. So once again, she does not need to worry about expenses and can focus on the recovery of her treatment. Now for the next feature, this time we have a higher minor critical illness benefit. Okay, so as long as the policy is in force, you get an additional one-time benefit of 25% of the sum assured or 1 million pesos, whichever is lower. When diagnosed with any of the 15 minor critical illnesses to help cover health expenses. So this time a higher minor critical illness payout. Okay? Now let's go over a sample scenario. We got Andrea once again. However, on year number 1, she gets diagnosed with early stage ovarian cancer, which is a minor critical illness. Okay? Now this time she can claim 25% of her sum assured, so she receives 250,000 pesos. Okay? So this is how our minor critical illness benefit will work. Now for our next feature, we have our death benefit. Okay? So the beneficiaries can claim 100% of the sum assured upon death of the insured. Please do take note though, this will only be provided if there is no major critical illness benefit that has been claimed. Okay? Once again, there should be no major critical illness benefit that has been claimed for the beneficiary to be eligible for a death benefit claim. So let's go over a scenario. Andrea on year 1 gets diagnosed with a minor critical illness, so she claims 25% of the sum assured, which is equal to 250,000 pesos. Okay, then remember we do have the health screening benefit, so she can claim, okay, 0.2% of the sum assured that she can use for her annual physical exam, so that's 2,000 pesos as well. Then sadly on year 3, Andrea passed away. Are we eligible for a death benefit this time? Answer would be yes. Why? Because we have no major critical illness claim. So this time the beneficiary can claim 1 million pesos. So the total benefits paid in this scenario is 1,252,000 pesos. Okay? Now let's go over another scenario. Okay, what if on the second policy year, Andrea gets diagnosed with a major cancer, which is a major claim, which is 1 million pesos. Okay, after that, she has the health supplement benefit, which could be used for her expenses for 6 consecutive months as well. Okay, and then she suffers no major critical illness. Then on year number 18, sadly, she passed away. Okay, so do we have a death benefit? This time answer would be no. Why? Because we have already filed for a major claim. So what happens when she passes away? The policy will terminate. Okay, so total benefits paid in this scenario is 1,120,000 pesos. For our next feature we got is our maturity benefit. Okay, so you can claim 100% of the sum assured upon reaching the age of 100. This will only be provided if there is no major critical illness benefit that has been claimed. Okay, so let's take a look on how this works. Okay, so on the first policy year, Andrea suffers a minor critical illness. That's 25% of the sum assured, so she claimed 250,000 pesos. Okay, now we do have the health screening benefit, which starts on the second year, so that's 0.2% of the sum assured. That's equal to 2,000 pesos. That will be also provided on year number 4, year number 6, year number 8, and then year number 10. Okay? And then after that, Andrea lives a long and healthy life with no major or minor claims, and she reached the age of 100. Now, before the policy actually terminates, she can receive the maturity benefit, which is equal to the sum assured of 1 million pesos. Okay? So altogether, Andrea received 1,260,000 pesos. Once again, this will only be provided if there is no major claim. And lastly, you can customize this plan with additional riders as well. Now we do have our built-in rider, which is our waiver of premium, okay? That would be either SurePro for insured or SurePro for owner. Okay, now we do have the option of attaching additional riders such as Recovery Pro, Safety Pro, and Life Pro. Okay? So for Andrea, she was 30 years old when she signed up for Vibrant with a sum assured of 1 million. She decided to go with a 10-year payment term with an annual premium of 86,380 pesos. Okay? That is 8,361.59 per month for 10 years, and she and her family get coverage up to 6,380,000 pesos. Now, who can avail and how much? Let's start with our issue age. So this time, our issue age in Vibrant is 15 days old up to 65 years old upon application. Okay, for the premium paying period, we have two options. That's either 5 years to pay or 10 years to pay. Now, regardless of the issue age or payment term, we get coverage up to the age of 100. Okay, now to sign up for Vibrant, our minimum sum assured is going to be 500,000 pesos. Our maximum sum assured is going to be 20 million pesos. Okay, now since this is a health insurance, we do require full underwriting. So please make sure our clients answer our underwriting questions in good faith. There should be no concealment or misrepresentation. Why? Because when a client needs to file for a claim, we want to have the peace of mind that the client will be eligible for the claim. Okay, now lastly, for the policy owner, if the insured and the owner is different, the owner can be between the age of 18 to 99 years age. Okay? Now, the way Vibrant works, for the sum assured, we have two band levels, okay? For band 1, that would be a sum assured of 500,000 up to 999,999 pesos. And then we got band 2 with a sum assured of 1 million up to 20 million. Now, what's the difference? The commission, okay? Which we'll find out later on. Okay, now since this is a traditional plan, please do remember we do have a modal loading. Okay, so it's more expensive if the client is going to pay monthly, quarterly, semi-annually versus that of an annual mode of payment, which is similar across all traditional products across the insurance industry. Now, for the 42 major critical illnesses, we pretty much have it similar to that of Set for Health. So you got your cancer group, and then you got your non-cancer group. Under non-cancer group, you have major organ failure, heart and blood vessel, neuromuscular related, and others. The only difference is this time, for cancer, you can claim up to 3 times. For heart attack, you are also eligible for 3 times. And stroke, you are also eligible for 3 claims as well. For our 15 minor critical illnesses, we have 2 groups as well. Okay, you have your juvenile conditions on your right, and then you have your adult conditions on the left. Okay, now once again, for juvenile, they can also claim under the adult condition group. Now let's go over a couple of important numbers for us to remember. Let's start with our first 90-day no claim period, okay? So the 90 days is from the effective claim period, okay? So the 90 days is from the effective date, from the date of last reinstatement, or from the date of the increase of the sum assured. So that means if the insured is diagnosed with either a major or minor critical illness within the 90 days, sadly, that will not be payable. Okay? The only time our major and minor critical illness will be paid after the 90-day no claim period. Now, this will apply to both major and minor claims. Another thing for us to remember is our 14-day survival period, okay? So, if ever the insured is diagnosed with either a major or a minor critical illness, we must achieve a 14-day survival period, okay? So, the client can only process a claim on the 15th day after the insured was diagnosed with either a major or a minor critical illness. Our next condition is the 1-year gap. Let's take a look at an example here. We got a client who was diagnosed with his first cancer on May 31st, 2022. Okay, to be eligible for another cancer, it should be at least after 1 year. Okay, so he gets diagnosed with his second or subsequent cancer on May 31st, 2023. Is he eligible? Answer would be yes. Why? Because we fulfilled the 1-year gap. We'll take a look at another scenario, this time for stroke. Okay, May 31st, 2022, client gets diagnosed with stroke, file for a claim. After a year, gets diagnosed with a second stroke. Is this payable? Answer would be yes. Why? We have achieved a 1-year gap. Then, a year later, May 31st, 2024, gets diagnosed with a third stroke. Since again, we achieved the 1-year gap, this time it will be payable as well. Now let's take a look for heart attack. Similar to that of stroke, similar to that of cancer, we have the 1-year gap. So client gets diagnosed on May 31st, 2022 with his first heart attack. A year later, a second heart attack. Since we achieved the 1-year gap, it's going to be payable as well. On May 31st, 2024, a third heart attack, it's going to be payable as well. Now, if it's aside from any of the previous conditions, cancer, heart attack, or stroke, we do have the 1-year gap as well, okay? So, May 31st, 2022, client gets diagnosed with his first major critical illness. To be eligible for any other major or minor critical illness, we need to once again fulfill the 1-year gap. Now let's take a look at the 3-year gap for continuous cancer. So let's take a look at the scenario. On May 31st, 2022, client gets diagnosed with cancer. 3 years later, the client is still suffering from that same cancer. Okay, since we achieved the 3-year gap, you can file once again for that same cancer. Okay, another scenario. May 31st, 2022, client gets diagnosed with cancer. On June 1st, a year later, there's a complete remission of that cancer. However, that same cancer came back. It became a recurring cancer. Is this payable? Answer would be yes as well. Why? We achieved the 3-year gap. Now lastly, we got the 2-year contestability period. Okay, that means from the effective date or last reinstatement, within the first 2 years, we can investigate a claim when it comes to death or critical illness. Now, how about after the 2 years? Can we still investigate the claim? For death, that would be no. For critical illness, yes. Why? Critical illness claims are always contestable. Now for the underwriting and policy administration, first of all, we have full underwriting when it comes to medical and financial. Okay, for the sum assured, that's going to be minimum 500,000. Maximum, that would be 20 million pesos, subject to our aggregation rule. For minors, we have a limit of 5 million pesos. For the total sum at risk, okay, For Vibrant, that would be 150%. Now, we do have a free look period, or known as cooling off period, which is 15 calendar days. We do have a grace period, which is 31 days. And since this is a whole life plan, you also have your non-forfeiture options: reduced paid up, automatic premium loan, or cash surrender value. Now, under Vibrant, we have a provision called juvenile lien. So this is a special provision for children below 4 years old. Okay, so if the insured person dies between the age of 0 to 1, only 20% of the benefit amount will be paid for the death benefit. If the child is between 1 to 2 years old, that would be 40%. Between 2 to 3 years old, that would be 60%. Between 3 to 4 years old, that would be 80%. And 4-year-old and above, 100% will be paid in a form of a death benefit. Now, for the exclusions here in Vibrant, this would apply to major and minor critical illnesses. First we got is drugs or alcohol. Second, HIV, psychiatric related causes, pre-existing condition unless the condition has been declared. Then you got unlawful acts, war, organs with left and right parts would be considered as one, and then you got suicide or self-inflicted act. Now, for death benefits, suicide will not be covered for the first 2 years if the insured person is sane.